the size a little bit, radius, make it bigger, and again just hold shift and bring it down like another copy. Keep on saving your project as well, and we come down to tube again and we just reduce, keep on reducing unless we get the desired scale. So now you can also see that the file size is getting heavier and heavier. Again, do the shift thing and say okay, and we just go back to tube and we reduce the size. So if your file size is getting heavier, what you need to do is just turn it down to 5, yeah, and turn this one down to, it depends on your machine as well, segments, height segments and cap segments, otherwise your computer might crash. Okay, and leave the big one as it is and do the small ones. Right, so now that we've got our main spear, top bit is done. Right, save it, and we just select all of it and we say group and we call it top. Right, and let's just apply one material to see how it looks, one color, just get a taste of it. So far so good, that looks alright. You can also just change this to metal for now, and then just see, you're getting there already. So we've got our top bit. Well, how are you going to go back into the sub elements, into this? So you don't need to ungroup it. What you do is group and open. So it's still grouped, but it lets you select all the inside bits. So what you can do is turn off turbo smooth here as well, because you don't want your file to be heavy, and then go back to group and close. So you've got your basic spear. Now next step is we just go back and we say right click and we say unhide by name, and now you want the middle bit, say unhide. Now as you can see, the middle bit is the whole tube. What we need to do is, again, we need to show our background map so that we at least know from where we have to break it, So select the middle piece, and again same method, edit poly, and in edit poly we go to polygon mode, which you can always select from here as well. And now you remember that you need to break it from here, and from the top you have to see that where your spear ends. I think that was from here. Right, you can go and check from here. You can move it up and down, but don't move too much. Come out of it and select and move up and down. Okay, you have broken it at the right place. So Control Z. For now we're not going to move it, just leave it as it is. Hide our background, and we hide this. Right click and hide selection. Now we'll be working with this one only. Right, so again the same method. What we do is you go to border, select border here and select border here, and then you just go and extrude it inside, extrude it inwards like you did before, and say okay. Since the borders are still selected, you can see it's a bit empty from inside. There's a cool technique here, and it's called bridge. What you need to do is just bridge it. So as you can see, that has bridged. If you want more segments in the bridge, you just go to bridge and then you say segments, Now, since we don't need too many segments because inside it's going to be like that, so let's apply 3 or 4 segments and say okay. Now next thing is, of course, apply the same turbo smooth. If you don't have turbo smooth, you just apply mesh smooth, or you gotta apply something. Okay, again it looks like a tire, which is again not what we want. So we go back, turn this off, and we'll do the same method here. We just go to edge mode, and we select the edges here, and come down, hold down control on your keyboard and leave it there. Make sure that you selected everything, otherwise sometimes it doesn't select. See, you've got a problem here, big time. See, this is what I was talking about. So you make sure that you select the ones that needs to be selected, which is this one. Yeah. So you can click ring, but the problem is it doesn't select from inside. So for that, you go back to top viewport and make sure that you select all these here. Now selected, nice. So probably the inside ones are a bit bigger, that's why they are selected like that, but never mind. We just apply now. The main thing, we just apply again the connect, and we just apply, let's say 5, right? And again we just select this one here and we say ring, and we've got it there. Basically what we want is we need to get rid of that soft bevel effect. So for that we have to put more edges here. So we just go to connect again. So we've got this segments here, say OK, and now we select the main one that we need to chamfer like we did before. You need to of course loop, select all around, and then we, like we did before, come here and we say chamfer, and again 1, yeah, it's applied, and then we apply again, and this time 0.5. So now we've got nice looking edge. Look at that, beautiful. So the same method we'll do here. You could have done it in one go, but just wanted to do it easy way. Okay, we do the same thing. We'll select this one and we'll just go and say ring. It'll select all of that, and again connect. So you've got already segments there, 5. So say OK. Then of course let's select here as well, the same method, nothing new. I hope you're following and enjoying as well. Okay, of course you can stop and play the tutorial according to your understanding. Say OK. Since there's no forward and rewind button, what you need to do is to just scrub the timeline according manually to get to the point where you want to be. Okay, select this edge here again, and then we'll go up and we say loop, and again we'll apply chamfer same way that we did before. Say 1, enter, and again apply 0.5, enter, and OK. So now if you go and you'll see again the same thing on both sides. What we need to do next is we need to make the inside of the middle part. For that we need to see the Photoshop file. As you can see, this one, it opens, and then there's a whole lot of things, machinery going on inside. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I've kind of made something that you can see in my file. So basically this is what we'll be making now. So as you can see, there's some kind of machinery that I came up with since we don't have the proper sketch. So we'll be making this one not very difficult, very easy. Actually this is one of my previous tutorials, the watch tutorial. I'm sure you still remember that one. This is how I made the interior. So let's go back to our file, very quickly make a tube again. So it's still in there, align it the way we did before, and we bring it down here. It's upside down actually, so we have to bring it down here, and we increase the height. It has to be inside it, so let's reduce change this into turbo smooth as well, so we get this nice effect again. The next step is we can add another material to it, which is we can add the same tube by pressing shift and click on it and say tube, say OK. So now you go back to the tube and just reduce the size and increase the height. So it's like checking out from here a little bit, so it's like coming out from here a little bit, and the rest is inside. Keep the turbo smooth to 1. So now let's go and make the machinery. Save your project as well. Okay, now what we do is we just other element, which is like a star, a cog, and we just come here, and you can also scale it from here. This is also a scale tool, and we just change the distortion to, so that we get these edges. So let's bevel it and see how it looks. So it's been beveled. And change the height to 1. If you have done my tutorial of text explosion and you know what I'm doing here, you should know what I'm doing here. So now we've got our star, and make sure that it's inside, and touching the edges. Let's increase the bevel a little bit more. Bring it in the middle. So that looks alright now. We can reduce the size here a little bit, and increase again the height so it covers it. So we've made this part as well, and now the next part is, which is, go back to our this is just something I came up with, with torus knot. I was playing around and I thought, okay, this looks cool, so I designed this. Now we go to geometry, and in geometry we go to extended primitives and we go torus knot, and you go to the top viewport and apply our torus, and again we just align it with the main body. Say okay, and then you just bring it down here, and what I'm going to do is I just play around and see what happens. Okay, as you can see, gives you a nice effect. See 0 here, and segments, increase the segments and the radius as well, of course. It's not in the middle, so you need to align it again with this part here. Say okay, it's gone up there somewhere. So it's got a nice shape here, and you can reduce the radius from here as well if you want, and increase the size, and increase the size here. So we've got our nice panel here. We select all this, we say group, and we say middle inside. Okay, and we just select all, and again, so something selected here, you go back and just click outside, turn on, and you say group, and you say middle. So we have finally made our middle as well. Not difficult at all, I guess. I hope you guys are following me. It's just a bit tricky, sometimes, but I'm sure you understand everything. Right, now the next step is that we will unhide by name again the bottom bit. So this is the bottom bit. So we again go and we change it to edit poly, and in edit poly we select the polygon, and as you can see from where we have to delete it one more. So now again, fortunately you don't have to do much here. Okay, and again we change this into turbo smooth. Here it is. Right, so we hide selected, and you can see we need to give it a thickness. We just go back to our border here, and we just apply extrude, and the same thing. When you apply again, it goes down. You just need to give it an effect. So you just leave it as it is. Extrude it down. We don't need to go put it too down. So just we leave it there somewhere. Okay, we need to go through the same process again, which is, of course, edge. Select the edges here, ring, and we just go down and connect. Increase the segments. So I'm doing the same method again, nothing new, and we select segments here, and I'll change it to again connect, and I'll say freeze it. Say OK. And again we'll select the middle one, which is important, and we say loop. Again, go through the same process, chamfering it. Say 1. Make sure that you chamfer with